Hello, all back on channel Secret Paradise. This time we'll talk about how to grow sugarcane that is good and right. Sugarcane is the essence of one of the most common plant spices used today, namely as the basic ingredient of sugar. In addition, this plant can be consumed directly by biting it. The collection of juice usually in this modern has also used a tool in the form of a crushing machine that will then remove sugarcane juice to the roots. As well as a pure ingredient of sugar, cane is a form of pure sugar that is without being given preservatives so that it is healthier. Therefore, if you are interested in cultivating sugarcane, here is how to grow sugarcane properly and correctly. Climate and weather conditions. Sugarcane is one of the plants whose growth is strongly influenced by natural conditions, especially climate and weather. For sugarcane itself, this plant will have the best growth if it is in an area that has a fairly hot air temperature, that is with the need for air temperature for growth of about 25-28 degrees Celsius. In addition, the most beneficial way to grow sugarcane is to pay attention to rainfall. The rainfall required is about 100 millimeters a year is one addition to make sugarcane plants at their best growth. State of the land. After paying attention to the conditions of the required climate and the weather needed to grow sugarcane crops, the next step is to determine the area to be determined. Before that, we have to check from the land that will be used. For this, you may be able to try how to grow sugarcane in the yard or Minecraft. To grow sugarcane plants, the most recommended soil for use in growing sugarcane is to use types of Mediterranean, Regisol, alluvial, and podzolic soils. Also, the content of the soil pH, unit of soil acidity level, is best for use for planting sugarcane is about 6.4 to 7.7 or soil acidity in moderately neutral conditions. Determination of the type and level of soil to be used is very important because it will affect the condition of the sugarcane plant itself. Preparing the land. After the selection of the state of the land to be used, then it is time to make preparations for the land to be used. Preparing the land to be used to do sugarcane planting can be done using two ways. The first way is by plowing land and renoso techniques. In the process of piracy of planting, land should be done on dry soil, because the main purpose of this piracy process is to make the soil to be used to become loose. In addition, by making soil loose will make the soil that we will use will make the process of exchanging oxygen air in the soil and removing toxins that settle in the soil. Then we have to make grooves in planting sugarcane by planting seedlings from sugarcane with a depth of approximately 20 centimeters. For methods other than land piracy methods, we can do resina techniques in processing land. Resina as another method offers a different way of processing by doing the planting process with a planter area to be planted with a depth of approximately 40 centimeters and form a basin. But keep in mind again, when this resina technique will occur when the soil in the place to be planted is classified as a lot of water. Choosing sugarcane seedlings. In choosing sugarcane seeds, there are 4 types of sugarcane seeds that can be used, namely shoot seeds, young stem seeds, rayungan seeds and swollen seeds. In the first seedling or seedling shoots, we can take it on sugarcane plants that usually have entered the age of 12 months. Then we will take young shoots that grow on the 12-month-old cane plant, as many as 2-3 young shoots that have a length of about 20 centimeters. If you want to use young seedlings derived from similar sugarcane plants, we can take them on the stems of sugarcane that have been aged 5-7 months. Then, the stem of the selected sugarcane plant will then be cut into 2-3 parts, which will then be used as cuttings. In addition, there are rayungan seeds. These seeds are seeds that have previously been often used to do breeding, for these seeds are usually seedlings that are derived from the shoots of sugarcane plants that have died. Sugarcane planting time. The best time to do on the sugarcane to be planted is when the weather from the sky is clear. Usually, planting sugarcane plants in dry areas is done when entering October to December. And if done in moist areas will be done at the beginning of the dry season. Sugarcane plant planting process. In areas that are classified as dry areas, usually the technique done to plant sugarcane that is included in the recommendation is to use seedlings derived from cuttings that have 8-9 from the bud's eye. The distance needed to do planting is about 1 meter per cuttings to be implanted, then planting will be carried out as deep as 1.25 to 1.35 per stem of existing cuttings. When the planted area is in a wet climate, the planting of technology that will be done is to use cuttings with 3 shoot eyes that are usually used in a technique called overlapping technique, or sticking ends. Tips on planting sugarcane that can be used if we have less energy in planting sugarcane in wet areas is to combine sugarcane as much as 5-6 bud eyes that have been cut into 2 parts. Watering. After planting, the next rare is to do watering on plants that have just been implanted. Aerating, like plants in general, is done by looking at the condition of the plant itself and by paying attention to the soil and weather. In planting sugarcane plants, watering is usually done when the fertilization process has been done or at most about 3 days after the fertilization process. Embroidery. This embroidery process can be done to replace seedlings from sugarcane plants if the sugarcane you want to plant is not in accordance with what is expected. This process can be done when the planted sugarcane has been aged to 4 weeks. This must be done if we see sugarcane plants that are planted growing abnormally. Then, as soon as doing embroidery so as not to interfere with the production of sugarcane that we are planting. Weeding. The weeding process is the process by which we remove or stop the growth process of weed plants that grow around the plants we are planting. The meaning of this is sugarcane plants. If the plants obtained in the planting area are still small, we can pull up to the root part of the weed planting, but if the weed plant is not controlled, we recommend using herbicides with DMA, Amixin, or just Pax types. In this process it will then be divided into several parts to see the growth of weed plants around existing sugarcane plants. Fertilization. The process of fertilization is to use PEGI fertilizer. The meaning is fertilization using the type of KCl fertilizer. In the process of fertilization, it is done gradually and adjusted to the needs of sugarcane plants and existing land. Go to Bing search. Search the web. Text. Translator. Conversation. Apps. For business. Help. Indonesian. Hamadan penyakit. Tanaman tebu adalah tanaman yang samalaknya tanaman pada umumnya, oleh karena itu ia dapat terkena dengan penyakit. Biasanya pada masa pembibitan, tanaman tebu sangat mudah terkena dengan oleh penjara. Apabila tanaman tebu terkena penyakit ini, maka sebaiknya dilakukan pemilihan dengan menggunakan varietas tebu yang tergolong dapat tahan dengan hama yang ada. Atau, dapat dengan menggunakan musuh alami dari hama oleh penjara kini, yaitu dengan menggunakan trikogama sp, lawat jaturoto atau dapat pula menggunakan thiadan 35 ec dengan karamina yang protein karen tersebut seluruh bagian dari tanaman. Hamadan penyakit. Tanaman tebu adalah tanaman yang samalaknya tanaman pada umumnya, oleh karena itu ia dapat terkena dengan penyakit. Biasanya pada masa pembibitan, tanaman tebu sangat mudah terkena dengan oleh penjara. Apabila tanaman tebu terkena penyakit ini, maka sebaiknya dilakukan pemilihan dengan menggunakan varietas tebu yang tergolong dapat tahan dengan hama yang ada. Ata, Dipadangan Mangunakan Musu Alami Dari Hamayolik Panjarekini, Ye Ita Dangan Mangunakan Trikagama SP, Lawat Jatoroto Ator Dipatpula Mangunakan Theodan 35 EC Dangan Karaman I Protan Karan Tersabuk Siluri Bagan Dari Tanaman. Copied. Pests and diseases. Sugarcane plants are the same plants as plants in general, therefore it can be affected by disease. Usually during the nursery, sugarcane plants are very susceptible to wood scrape or caterpillars. If sugarcane plants are affected by this disease, then it should be selected using sugarcane varieties that are classified as able to withstand existing pests. Or, it can be by using the natural enemy of this caterpillar pest, namely by using Trichogama sp. Jatoroto fly, or can also use Theodan 35 EC by spraying the liquid on all parts of the plant. Pests and diseases. Sugarcane plants are the same plants as plants in general, therefore it can be affected by disease. Usually during the nursery, sugarcane plants are very susceptible to wood scrape or caterpillars. If sugarcane plants are affected by this disease, then it should be selected using sugarcane varieties that are classified as able to withstand existing pests. Or, it can be by using the natural enemy of this caterpillar pest, namely by using Trichogama sp. Jatoroto fly, or can also use Theodan 35 EC by spraying the liquid on all parts of the plant. Harvesting. The harvesting process of sugarcane plants can be done by removing the soil around the sugarcane plant with about 20 centimeters. Then, part of the sugarcane stem is left as many as 3 segments if we will replant the existing sugarcane, or we can also remove it to the root if the land we use will be dismantled and replaced using other plants. Usually, when harvesting, the shoots of this sugarcane plant are discarded, then the harvested stems will be tied into one with an amount of about 20 to 30 stems in one large bond, which will then be ground and processed into sugar. Usually, this harvesting process will be done when entering the dry month, which is between April and October. Because the process and how to grow sugarcane is relatively easy, where we can replant the sugarcane that we have harvested. Actually, this sugarcane plant is a fairly economical plant in general that will make you reduce the cost of producing sugarcane plants. If you are interested in trying it, then the way of cultivating sugarcane above will be highly recommended to plant sugarcane. Happy farming! Thank you for videoing this video. See you again on the Secret Paradise channel.
I'm talking about the